Good. I can see that several people have joined now. So it's 1 minute past 5. And welcome to everyone who is joining us this afternoon for our second Collège de Léman webinar of the day. Earlier in the day, we had our preschool and primary webinar. And now in this session, we will cover our secondary section, levels 6 to 12. My name is Laura Bayat, and I'm the Director of Admissions at CDL. And I am joined today by a wonderful group of panelists that I would like to introduce to you. First of all, we have Mrs. Pauline Nord, our Director General.
Hello.
Then I'm happy to have today with us one of our parent ambassadors and member of the Parent Faculty Association, Hala.
Hello,
Welcome,
everyone.
Hala.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Hala will offer insights from her experience as a parent here at CDL. Then representing the middle school section, we have Betsy Harvey, our middle school Secondaire principal, together with one of our grade 7 students, Hannah. Welcome to you both.
Hello, everyone.
All right. And then for high school, we have James Bearblock, our executive principal.
Hello and welcome.
And we have two of our lovely students. We have Veronica, who is following the IB program.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Welcome, Veronica. And we have Enrico, who is in the final year of the American High School Diploma.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, and then last but not least, for the Francophone section, we have Monsieur Emmanuel Coigny, our Proviseur du Secondaire. And together with him, we have Victoria, who's following the Swiss Maturité program, and Adam, who is one of our French bac students.
Bonsoir à
Bienvenue
tous.
à vous.
Bienvenue. Merci. Nice to meet you.
All right. So in today's session, we have a few slides that we would like to take you through, but we want this session to be as interactive as possible. So this is why I invite you to share your questions as we go through the presentation, and then we will answer them during the session. Okay? And to kick us off, I have a little video that I would like to show you. Okay, I hope this gave you a good glimpse into the vibe and into the vibrancy of our school. And with this, I would like to hand over to Mrs. Pauline Nord for the first part.
Thank you, Laura. Once again, welcome and thank you for joining us today. As you can see, we're several on this call who are all ready to share our passion for Collège de Léman with you. And it's a school that I've had a long association with. I've been here for over 30 years, having started as a math teacher. And it's also a school that I've experienced as a parent. I have seen what an international education can bring to my two daughters who went through the IB and the Swiss Maturité. So we have a lot to share with you today, a lot of people to give you an insight into what CDL is all about. Thank you, Laura. CDL was founded in 1960 by two Swiss educators, Monsieur and Madame Kliva, and we've had a long association with international education. We were also one of the founding schools of the European Association of International Schools, and then in 2015 became part of Nord Anglia Education, which now is made up of 87 schools across the world. And as I said, I've been here a long time, but I was very honoured in 2019 to have the possibility to become the first female director of Collège de Léman. Our values are extremely important to us. They are the foundation for everything that we do. We use the acronym RISE to stand for respect, internationalism, spirit and excellence. And these values you will see everywhere you go on the campus, whether it's in the classroom, in the playground, in the boarding house. It's something that we live and breathe, and that is apparent everywhere you go. Thank you, Laura. As I said, we're part of Nord Anglia. Being part of a large network of 87 schools really allows us to create very unique opportunities for our students. They can collaborate with students from across the world. And then through Nord Anglia, we have the opportunity to experience collaborations with Juilliard Performing Arts, MIT and UNICEF, providing these unique experiences for our students. Thank you, Laura. And then just finally from me, the advantage of having everything all on one campus. We're going from age 2 through to 18. You can see from the slide, and you'll hear more from my colleagues afterwards, the range of different opportunities that we provide for our students, really very unique pathways that we can help to personalize depending on the strengths of the students. So lots and lots of very exciting things going on. And I'm happy now to pass over to Dr. Harvey, I think comes next. Yes.
That's right. Thanks very much, Pauline. So I'm very happy to share just a little bit about our program in middle school secondaire. As Pauline mentioned on the last slide, middle school secondaire is from about 11 to about 14, so 3 years of middle school. Hannah, who is joining me, is in the middle of middle school secondaire in grade 7. Hannah, when did you start at CDL?
I started in grade 3, so
Okay.
I've been here for 5 years.
And where did you move from?
I moved from the US.
Okay, thank you. Laura, could you show us the next slide? Great. So you can see the 3 levels of middle school secondaire, and we have some students who are studying in an Anglophone program like Hannah is, some students who are in a Francophone program, and then actually quite a few of our students are in our bilingual programs. It's a 50-50 bilingual program, particularly in grade 6 and grade 7, Bill 6 and Bill 7. What that means is that students have, for example, math. Half of their lessons are taught in English, an Anglophone way of doing math, and half a Francophone way of doing math in French. It's for students who are already having quite a high level of linguistic ability in both English and French. So it's not a program for students who are going to learn French or going to learn English. But it's quite a rigorous program. It's a really enriching program. That finishes in Bill 7 because students need to start making a choice either towards the Francophone side or towards the Anglophone side. Still, we have some options to do subjects in the opposite language in grade 8, bilingual or Quechua bilingue. But for the most part, they're started in that pathway of being an Anglophone student or a Francophone student. Hannah, you're in the Anglophone program, but you still do French as a language.
Yeah.
And since you started in grade 3, how would you say your French is?
When I started in grade 3, the only words I knew were bonjour, and now I'm in the highest French. So.
Whoa, that's very impressive. So what does that mean to be in the highest French? Like if you're at a restaurant, can you order completely and confidently in French?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, okay, very good. Just on the right, you can see a picture of one of our homeroom notice boards. Homeroom is a very important part of middle school secondaire. It's really kind of what it means, your home location, your home classroom. So your homeroom advisor this year is?
It's Mr. Sheehy.
Mr. Sheehy. And what do you do as a homeroom class that kind of helps you through school?
He does these little check-ins, and at the beginning of the year, he like took around everyone and did a little check-in about what they want this year and if they're having any problems. And he's just there, and he's
there
really
for
nice.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your homeroom class generally moves from one subject to another. Like French, you have different levels.
Yeah.
Math, you have different levels. But most of your subjects, you're staying together as a group.
Mm-hmm.
And does that help you to feel? I mean, we have quite a few different classes, and it's a pretty complicated part of the school. Does that help you to feel more confident, do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, you get a chance to get to know kids in some of your lessons. Okay. Thank you very much, Laura. Could you go to the next slide? So this slide is really here to remind us that we are teaching students how to learn, not just what to learn. So I'm a geography teacher. And when I was in middle school, when I was in geography student in middle school, I was given a map and I was told to learn, particularly I remember the Middle East. I had to memorize what countries were where. The way that I teach geography and my colleagues as well is much more about how can we find out more about the world, or what are trends about how the world works, instead of just placing things on a map. So as we think about how can we be all of these 21st century skills that you see here, how can we be compassionate? How can we be collaborative? How can we be curious? Those are things that we really try to instill in our students, and we give them skills like visible thinking routines for how can we access those different types of learning, and how can we work much more collaboratively, compassionate, all these things that you see here. How can we do that in whatever it is that we're studying? So this is a way to bridge kind of from one subject to another students learning. Laura, could you go on to that next slide, please? We want to teach students how to learn, but we also are looking for students who are just good people. And when you think about our RISE values that Mrs. Nord shared earlier, we want well-rounded, interested students who are going to be citizens in the world. So some of the things that we can offer our students, you can see here. Pauline already mentioned Juilliard, our connections with MIT and STEAM, looking at UNICEF and some of the other charities that we support, but also looking more holistically. Hannah, you mentioned homeroom, and your homeroom, actually your whole grade level, went on a trip at the start of the school year. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we went to Liaison, which is up in the mountains. It was really fun, and you got to choose who you were in your dorm, so you felt comfortable. And for the activities, you didn't get to choose, but that's good because I made some new friends in Liaison.
Some new students.
Yeah, some new who are new.
Yeah, very good. We start the school year with these trips, well, kind of the third, fourth week of school. And the reason that we do it at the beginning is really to help integrate new students. Were you a buddy this year for new students?
No, I wasn't.
Okay, but I know you've done it in the past,
Yeah,
even when we have students who come during the school year. It's really important that students settle into school. It takes sometimes a week, sometimes a month, or even longer. But it's really important that students feel like they're a part of our community as quickly as possible. So all of these activities together really work on supporting students, like I said, to be good people, not just to be good students. And as students finish up with middle school secondaire, this is a really great place for them because they have some academic capacities. They also are starting to figure out who they are in the world. And I think that is a really nice place to be as students then decide whether they're going to go to high school or on to Secondaire. So with that, I guess I will pass the baton off to my colleague in high school, James Bearblock.
So thank you very much. If I could introduce a little bit about the way in which the high school works, but then more seriously talk to some students that I have with me this evening. As you've heard, we've got Enrico and Veronica joining us, so we'll hear the real story from them. But if you'll just permit me to give you a little bit of an idea of how the high school works. Laura, if we go straight to the next slide. This slide talks about success. We've seen already that there are different pathways that students can choose as they move through the school. That continues into the high school. And we see here that we have, on the one hand, the American High School Diploma with advanced placement possibilities. We also have the IB Diploma Program, and the third option, the IB Career Related Program. And we feel that under one roof, we can guide students into a program that is going to be most suitable to their learning needs, their interest, can address their passions, and can prepare them well for success and to go on to the university of best fit for them ultimately. And you see a little bit of our success in terms of the numbers there. We're very proud of our students, the work that they do and the results that they achieve. Just to look at the numbers a little bit, on the left-hand side, we see above 99% of our students achieving the high school academic diploma. But breaking that down also, you see 82% of our students achieving advanced placement qualifications, and 77% of those at the highest level, the highest grades, if you will. The highest grades in the AP happen to be 4 and 5. And our students are doing extremely well. Put in the context that the world average is something of the order of 60%. So our students are achieving very well in a challenging, very highly challenging academic style of program. The advantage of that program, in a way, is its flexibility. Students can really make up the program and the subjects according to their real needs, passions, and interests. Compared with the International Baccalaureate program, you see on the right-hand side, again, students that's achieving extremely well. This program is more of a package, if you will. The students take a range of subjects across disciplines. They have to be able to perform well in all of those disciplines to achieve their diploma ultimately. But again, success through the fact that students choose the program which is most suited to their way of learning and their interests and so on. And you see here that we have a 100% pass rate, all of the students in the program receiving their diploma, 43 as the highest score last year out of 45 maximum. And as you can imagine, over a range of disciplines and some other elements that are built into that program, some of our students are really performing very well indeed. And that success then leads on to universities, Laura. So if we can look at the next slide here. This is obviously just a sample. It's not exhaustive at all. It's just a sample of the styles of university that our students move on to. But essentially, whichever style of education they choose through the high school, they have choice, and they do go all over the world. In fact, I just had a student in yesterday who was talking about her APs. She's doing extremely well. She will be applying, or has applied actually, for next year to some very substantial UK universities, including Oxford. She's also applying to a number of American schools, including some of the Ivy League schools, Columbia and others. So these qualifications really do lead students into some very high-level universities. And again, we see a sample here, but by no means exhaustive. So thank you. If we can move on. And just to finish my piece, in terms of the or moving into the type of experience that a student might have in the high school, the idea that they will be working and taught by very highly qualified teachers, very experienced in the international school setting, very experienced in preparing students for these high-level qualifications. And they will get very personalized attention in class and beyond class. On the right-hand side of the screen, what we illustrate here is that, of course, education doesn't stop at the classroom door. We see the REACH program represented, and our students, certainly in the high school as well, following from the middle school Secondaire, are expected to be involved in the REACH program. It's an obligatory part of their experience, and they will be participating in activities in these different domains, which we hope pushes them beyond their comfort zone in a way, perhaps open doors for them, gives them opportunities to try things and to enjoy those experiences, and also then to develop their profile again when it comes to university applications ultimately. But as I said earlier, the best way to find out what it's really like to be a student in the high school is to ask the students themselves. So if I can perhaps turn to Veronica and Enrico, and Veronica is in one of these programs, Enrico in the other, so we might get an idea of the contrast here. So perhaps if I could start with Veronica, ask you to introduce yourself a little bit, identify the program you're in, and try to give some idea of how that's working for you and how it might be preparing you for university ultimately.
Yes, of course. So my name is Veronica Kellerman. I'm 17 years old and I'm doing the IB diploma program. So some of my subjects, I take a lot of language subjects. So there are many options here, but I chose to take English and French, and then I kept German from my middle school secondaire. So I would say that the IB program is really, really good if you want to be academically challenged. I think it's amazing to have a program that allows you to have such a wide range of subjects, because as was previously mentioned, the AP program is really good for specializations and if you know exactly what you want to do. But if you know that you're not really sure or you're in between two sort of careers like I was, it's really helpful to have such a wide range of subjects and you still have the flexibility of choosing the subjects that you would like. So I think it's also really good because you get to have some subjects that are higher level and then some that are standard level. So perhaps if there's a class that you really enjoy, but it's not maybe something that you want to go into, but you still want to keep it, you can have it as a standard level option. But you can have subjects that you're sure that you want to focus on as higher levels and they can push you even further. So I would also say that the IB program is really, really good because there's a lot of extra things on top of just the classwork, which can be difficult because you do need to have a lot of time management skills, but I think it's absolutely worth it. You have things like TOK, which is theory of knowledge, and it's a really interesting class to take. But you also have things like your IAs, which challenge you in even more ways than just the class times. And I think it's also really nice that despite the IB having external exams, you also have those IAs, which are internally assessed before they're sent off to the IB. So you have a chance to have sort of an assured part of your grade that you already know going into the exams.
Okay, thank you, Veronica. And sort of by contrast then, Enrico, you're in the other program, so to speak, you're in grade 12. Can you sort of introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about how grade 12 is working for you and again, preparing you for university.
Hi, I'm Enrico Fabri. I'm 18 years old, and well, currently I'm taking the American High School Diploma, and as the name says, it's mainly focused for universities in the US, but it's still highly recognized and gives you amazing opportunities all around the world. So me, myself, I'm currently in the application process, and I've applied to 7 different unis in Europe, in the UK, in the Netherlands, and in Italy. So even though it's the American program, you can still do amazing applying anywhere around the world. And well, as mentioned before, it's a program that really lets you choose your subjects and specialize on what you want to do mainly for your college goals. So in my case, this year, currently I'm taking 5 APs, which are advanced placements, but you also have the standard courses and the honors courses. So basically the standard courses are the standard level so that you can explore them, see how you do, see if you really enjoy them. And then the honors courses are sort of a transition point in between the standard and the APs. And once you complete honors, then you go to the advanced placements, in which if you perform well, you can get credits for college. So you can choose in between a variety of social sciences, natural sciences, subjects on languages and maths. The only 2 that are actually mandatory are English and 1 type of mathematics. And well, if you have English above B2, which is a reasonably good level of proficiency, you're required to take French as well. But apart from that, you're free to choose 4 other subjects apart in which you can decide what you want to explore.
Thank you, Enrico. So that's hopefully gives some examples of the way things happen in these different styles of program. Now, going beyond the classroom, perhaps again in terms of the experience, quickly, because I know we want to move through, but in terms of your activities beyond the classroom, and to give an idea of the experience you have in the school broadly, Veronica, would you like to say just a few things about what you're up to? I know you do so many things, but tell us a few of them.
So I have a lot of involvements both within the school and around the school. That's another thing that's really great about CDL is its placement. Because, for example, there's a sports center that's just up the road that has a lot of local clubs as well. And there's a lot of sort of things that are around that can help. But the school also has a lot of amazing opportunities for extracurriculars. So, for example, I'm very much into musical theater, and I am currently a part of the second school musical at CDL, which is a really amazing opportunity because not only do you get the chance to be on stage and perform in a professional theater, you also get to interact with a lot of varying grade levels, and you get to meet them and you get to interact with them and work on such a great project with them. So I'm doing that, but then also I have a lot of opportunities within the school system almost. So I'm actually the communications officer for one of our 4 school charities, which is called WATU. And I think that that's such an amazing cause to be a part of. And it's, of course, also good for CAS, but I think it's also amazing to have the opportunity to be involved in something like that.
Thank you, Veronica. Yeah, I don't know how you fit everything into the time available, but well done. Thank you. Enrico, just quickly, could you share some of the things you're doing as well in the school?
Of course, and well, as Veronica said, the school offer activities in all types of domains. So me personally, I take part in the football team, and well, the school recently rebuilt its pitch and the field is looking amazing. We also get to play games and competitions against teams from other schools. And I also take part on the environmental club, and I'm an environmental ambassador myself. So recently I've started a new proposal that aims to look for the school's environmental footprint and see how we can develop that, make the school more sustainable, well, develop furthermore into a greener school. I've also taken part on the DJ Mix Club that, well, teaches us how to DJ mix, how to understand music and develop our music based on our own tastes. But yeah, it's definitely we have a million different opportunities for all types of tastes, and there's always something new to explore.
Okay, Enrico, thank you very much. And I think you can see from what has been said here that those activities fit very nicely into the REACH profile that you see. The activities really are framed in the REACH program that we have. And it's wonderful to see students becoming responsible citizens, as we just heard, in terms of sustainability, active, creative, and so on. So well done to both of you. Thank you very much. I think we better move on. So I think, Laura, if we go to the next slide, and I introduced Hala. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, James, and Veronica and Enrico for your presentation. Hala, you have been with us since 2 years, I think, and you've got your daughter as well in the high school program following DIB. Now, 2 years, not such a long time, so it's maybe kind of still fresh, your experience since when you joined and how you felt since then. If you can share a little bit about how it went for you and also for your daughter.
Absolutely. And yes, two years, I was probably in the shoes of many of those attending today, where I was possibly in another country looking to move to Geneva, which is a different culture. And we were in Canada at the time, where it's AP high school, and not only was moving a big project, but I had a teenager who was very happy where she was and did not want to move. So that's where the admissions team at CDL came in and made such a big difference, truly in every way. The variety that we had in choice, because my daughter was able to go into high school, so it was a smooth transition academically, made a big difference. Other schools that we looked at were very limiting. It was either IB or IGCSE, so that there wasn't this flexibility. And also just the welcome that we had from admissions felt so good. And as a parent, I felt like this is the right place for my daughter. She was offered a trial day and was paired with a school buddy. And when she was at school, she immediately made friends. So by the time we had moved, she was already had her friend group. And being part of the school anytime I walk on campus, just like we've heard from Mr. Bearblock and Ms. Harvey before, they're good people. It's a wholesome school community. I really feel happy every time I come on campus. And academically, my daughter has done so well. that she feels confident and has moved to IB, so similar to Veronica's experience, who is such a beautiful example of the students at CDL. She's doing the IB program, so her transition was smooth, comfortable, has made a lot of friends, and is doing very well academically.
Thank you so much, Hala. You're also very active within our Parent Faculty Association. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and about the CDL community? What type of things are happening on campus, fueled by the PFA, but also beyond that?
Oh, absolutely. So CDL wasn't only a place for my daughter, it also became a place where me moving as a newcomer to Geneva made new friends and joining the Parent Faculty Association. One of the many things we do is Pizza Friday. So we come and we raise money for charity events to support some of the charities at the school. It's an opportunity to work with other parents and support the school community. We've also got a gala that we host with the school every year, also in support of our charities. We do parent-teacher appreciation events as well. So it's a great way for parents of high schoolers, which rarely do you get to mingle. We don't have play dates like younger kids do. So it's a great way to meet other parents. We have moms and dads both involved. So it's really fantastic for the parents as well.
Thank you so much, Hala. And please stay with us. We might have some questions from the parents that might be where it might be great if you could also chip in to answer. Okay. Thank you so much. And with this, we move over to our Francophone section. And this part will now become truly bilingual, as we have Monsieur Kwani and Victoria and Adam joining us.
Bonsoir à tous. Ravi d'être avec vous ce soir. Thank you for joining us this evening. Nous sommes très heureux avec Victoria et Adam de parler de la section secondaire. Alors, moi, je suis Monsieur Kwani, donc je dirige la section secondaire. Je suis là depuis le siècle dernier, puisque j'ai commencé à la fin des années 90 au collège. J'étais engagé par Monsieur et Madame Cliva. Et c'est vrai que j'ai fait toute ma carrière au collège. Je me suis senti tellement bien dès le début que j'ai pas voulu aller voir ailleurs, parce qu'il y a vraiment un esprit de famille. On est vraiment une école qui est à part. On est comme une famille, une communauté véritable sur un campus magnifique. Vous n'avez pas la chance ce soir de le voir, mais j'espère qu'on vous verra bientôt sur place. Le campus est tellement attrayant. Et on a la chance dans la section francophone de proposer deux diplômes exigeants qui sont la maturité suisse bilingue et le bac français, mais qui offrent toutes les opportunités puisqu'ils permettent effectivement d'accéder à toutes les universités du monde et qui donnent un solide bagage avec en plus l'approche internationale, puisqu'on est dans une école où il y a 130 nationalités, des internes, des externes. Et cette chance-là, elle permet à nos élèves francophones de bénéficier d'un double diplôme avec le High School Diploma à côté du bac et de la Matu, et surtout d'avoir la créativité, le bien-être, la méthodologie qui sont des spécialités anglophones et qui rajoutent de la plus-value à nos diplômes. Donc c'est vraiment une chance, un suivi aussi personnalisé. On a des petits effectifs pour faire un suivi très proche des élèves. Et c'est vrai qu'on a une équipe qui ne bouge pas beaucoup, une équipe en place qui est là depuis longtemps, très fidèle, et qui donne le meilleur d'eux-mêmes pour que les élèves soient heureux, qu'ils aient un savoir, mais également un savoir-être et un savoir-faire. Alors, s'il te plaît, Laura, si tu peux passer merci au slide suivant. C'est sûr que la première chose, c'est le diplôme, la réussite au diplôme. On est très fiers puisque ça fait 100% de réussite depuis un certain nombre d'années, avec des belles mentions bac, le second meilleur résultat à la Matu l'année dernière. Je fais un clin d'œil à Victoria parce qu'elle est aussi très proche d'obtenir, avec le score qu'elle a obtenu l'an dernier, elle va nous en parler dans un petit moment, des célébrations, mais également une approche holistique. On ne veut pas seulement que ce soit des élèves scolaires, on veut que ce soit des élèves qui soient bien dans leur peau, bien aussi dans leur future orientation. On a une équipe d'orientation solide avec nous qui travaille. On prépare aussi avec le Salon des métiers, avec des interventions extérieures, beaucoup d'activités. Les élèves peuvent participer à des sorties culturelles, visite de l'ONU, on leur a fait visiter l'Assemblée nationale, le Sénat. On veut vraiment qu'il y ait cette ouverture et que ce ne soit pas seulement dans les livres qu'ils apprennent ou sur l'iPad ou le MacBook, mais également sur le terrain. Et on fait venir beaucoup d'entreprises pour que les enfants soient aussi au contact avec leur futur emploi. Parmi les universités, donc on a cité quelques-unes, vous voyez qu'avec le bac français et la Matu suisse, les élèves peuvent aller partout dans le monde, puisque bien sûr le PFL, l'UNIGE, pour les universités suisses prestigieuses, mais également des universités anglophones, comme Bath, comme Imperial, comme King's College, etc., qui sont vraiment des opportunités qui leur sont offertes. Laura, merci. Voilà quelques activités. On voit le Salon des métiers, la visite à l'Assemblée nationale où on a été reçu par le député des Français de l'étranger et qui reste pour les élèves ayant pu en bénéficier justement une expérience inoubliable. Alors maintenant, sur le fait concret, je voulais m'adresser à mes deux élèves. Et je vais commencer par Victoria. Victoria, est-ce que tu peux te présenter et dire un petit peu d'où tu viens et ton parcours?
Bonsoir tout le monde, je m'appelle Victoria, j'ai 17 ans et cela fait 13 ans que je suis au Collège du Léman. Je suis en terminale maturité, donc la dernière année dans le programme de maturité suisse. Et moi, j'ai choisi ce diplôme parce que je voulais avoir accès aux universités suisses et venant d'une famille internationale, donc je suis de nationalité américaine et roumaine, c'était le diplôme qui m'ouvrait des portes non seulement en Suisse, mais partout dans le monde. C'est un diplôme très exigeant, mais la BATU, elle m'a appris beaucoup plus que juste devenir un bon élève et apprendre dans plusieurs matières. Ça m'a aussi appris commencer d'être dans une communauté internationale. Il y a vraiment cet esprit de famille qu'on retrouve dans la section francophone et non seulement. Et je trouve que c'est aussi très important de mentionner la relation qu'on a avec nos professeurs qui est vraiment très proche. Ils connaissent exactement où sont nos faiblesses, ils savent comment nous pousser pour nous améliorer. Et ça se voit dans les résultats qu'on obtient à la maturité, qui sont des très bons résultats.
Et puis elle est modeste, mais je vais le dire pour elle, elle a obtenu sur la première partie de ses examens 35 sur 36. Alors qu'on sait que c'est l'examen le plus difficile, ce qui est fantastique, ce qui est un score exceptionnel. Donc bravo à elle, elle fait la deuxième partie, là, elle est en train de la préparer puisqu'elle passe en janvier, on a fait la session de janvier avec des cours post-matu qu'elle a déjà choisi. Qu'est-ce que tu veux faire après, Victoria, après la matu?
Après la matu, j'ai envie de faire des études en médecine à Lausanne. Et donc, ce qu'on offre au Collège du Léman et pas forcément dans d'autres écoles, c'est les cours post-matu qui nous préparent aux universités, mais aussi non seulement on peut suivre des intérêts qu'on a. Et c'est une petite blague que les anciens élèves disent. Ils disent que les autres diplômes nous préparent pour les 2 premiers jours de l'université et la maturité pour les 15 premiers. Donc voilà, c'est juste pour montrer que en étant un diplôme exigeant, il nous prépare non seulement pour obtenir un diplôme, mais aussi pour pouvoir être préparé à l'université et savoir comment nous organiser et réussir à l'université.
Et ton travail de maturité, il porte sur quel sujet?
Alors, le travail de maturité, c'est une sorte de test personnel qu'on fait. C'est un travail qui dure sur 2 ans et demi. Et moi, j'ai choisi de faire en biologie sur la modulation de la douleur. Donc voilà, c'est encore quelque chose qui va m'aider pour plus tard.
Merci. Adam? Alors Adam, toi, tu as une particularité, tu nous as rejoint cette année. Dis-nous un petit peu d'où tu viens et qu'est-ce que tu fais cette année?
Bonjour, je m'appelle Adam, j'ai 15 ans, c'est ma première année au CDL, donc je suis en second baccalauréat. Je suis donc dans la 2e année du cursus baccalauréat français. J'ai rejoint l'équipe du coup cette année, ça a été une très bonne expérience. Je suis arrivé grâce à ma sœur qui était là avant, donc il y a eu un résultat au bac mentionné très bien.
Ah oui, elle a eu plus de 16 sur 20, effectivement. Qu'est-ce qu'elle devient maintenant? Qu'est-ce qu'elle fait comme
Et
étude?
moi, elle est à l'université en préparation pour Imperial, elle est à Londres.
À Londres, impeccable. Alors, qu'est-ce qui te plaît toi, au collège et qu'est-ce que tu suis comme cours qui t'ont marqué cette année et quelles sont les activités auxquelles tu participes?
Donc moi, mes cours qui m'ont marqué cette année, c'est en particulier 2 cours qui ont lien ensemble. C'est l'IME, donc l'initiation dans l'entreprise, que Monsieur Cognier a mis en place cette année. C'est un cours qui nous fait venir à nous des anciens élèves qui ont créé des entreprises et donc ils nous expliquent par où ils sont passés, comment ils sont arrivés à être des entrepreneurs. Et ils nous expliquent ainsi plein de métiers différents qui pourront nous aider par la suite pour notre orientation. Il y a aussi l'économie qui a changé par rapport en 3e baccalauréat, on n'avait pas. C'est très productif. C'est pas uniquement pour les matheux, mais c'est très intuitif et franchement, j'aime beaucoup. Donc moi, en activité, je fais volleyball. Je fais partie de l'équipe de volleyball. Je suis prof de français pour les plus jeunes anglophones de 7 à 10 ans, interne. Et je fais aussi DJ Mix. Donc ça me permet d'avoir un point de vue global sur le sport, l'art, ou encore de la citoyenneté.
Et on rejoint le REACH
Voilà.
et l'approche holistique dont parlait mon collègue. Dernière chose, tu es interne, parce qu'on a 270 élèves internes avec nous. Et Adam, c'est sa première année à l'internat. Et comment ça se passe? Et qu'est-ce que tu fais à l'internat?
Moi, normalement, je suis pas comme les autres internes. À la base, en première année d'internat, on est tous nouveaux, donc on apprend à s'adapter au système. C'est très spécial, mais c'est très plaisant parce qu'on est entouré de personnes du coup, qu'on aime, d'amis, de surveillants très bienfaisants. Limite, c'est des grands frères. Ils nous aident dans tout ce qu'on fait, ils nous encouragent. Et ma petite particularité, c'est que je suis house representative. Du coup, je m'occupe d'organiser des activités pour les autres internes ou encore les aider pour leurs devoirs, même si je suis en première année, je garde un très bon niveau sur toutes les matières.
Dernière question en anglais, parce que nos élèves sont bilingues. Et là, Mathieu est un diplôme bilingue, peut-être. Pour Victoria, une dernière petite question. What do you like at school?
So being in Collège des Léman for all these years, I've been often asked why stay in one place for so long. And the answer is simple, is because for me, it's become my second home. So it's a place where not only I've felt comfortable, and I've always felt like the teachers support us and push us to become better versions of ourselves. I also found that the people that I've met here have always been really nice people. The friendship ties that we make here, they also continue out of school, because being an international school, many new students come, many students leave, and it just shows that we're in this international environment where everyone feels comfortable, and it opens so many doors on other cultures and on the world.
Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Ils font plaisir, ils illustrent tellement bien la section que c'est un bonheur de les entendre. Merci.
Merci beaucoup, and thank you very much. I will try to kind of to summarize it for our non-French speakers. So our French section, you have two diplomas that you can do: the Swiss Maturité and the French Baccalaureate. It's a section where we have a very personalized approach, where our students really work very closely with their teachers, and there's really kind of the sense of community. So you've got kind of a good mix between a more traditional academic pathway, but within a very international environment. And one specificity about our Swiss Maturité program is that we do the final exams in February. So our students actually finish their diploma quite early, and that they can follow then some preparation courses for university. So it's a great way to really have a smooth start into university afterwards. The beauty with both the Swiss Matu and the French Bac is that you have access not only to universities in Switzerland for the Swiss Matu, or in France for the French Bac, but it really opens the door for university across the world. So our students really go to the UK, to the US, to Italy, and to other countries across the globe. Okay. So with this, I will continue on into the presentation, and I only have 2 to 3 slides left. So I encourage you again, if you've got any questions on what you have heard so far, or any questions on anything that we haven't covered so far, please do type them in the Q&A chat, and I'll be able to see them and to direct them to our group of panelists. The last points that I wanted to cover are a little bit on the extracurricular programs. You heard a little bit about this already. I'm presenting to you today from the admissions room, and here we have this wonderful brochures that have all of our activities in. You can experience a variety of activities, some that are more sportive, where you've got football, fencing, sailing, or others, like you heard DJ Mix, for example, is one of our extracurricular activities. But then we also have a chess club. We've got an AI club. We've got Future Leader. There's lots of performing arts activities, photography. So everything that you might want to do to follow your passion that already exists or to discover something new. Okay. And Pauline Nord sometimes says our school never sleeps, and this is true. We are here during the academic period, but when we close the school to our students, we actually have the camps that a lot of our day students join, or a lot of our boarding students join. So we offer camps in autumn. We just had a Juventus camp and a musical camp. Then we've got camps also at Easter, starting as early as 4 years old. And then we've got our classical summer camp program that is happening during the summer, with a lot of interesting activities for our students to do, whether it's activities on the lake or some more academic activities. There's really something for everyone. Okay, and then a little bit about our admissions process. You can see here different steps, and it might look a little bit overwhelming, but it's not, because everything happens online. In each step, you're accompanied by one of our lovely admissions officers, and it all starts with an inquiry or with you joining a session like today, a webinar. And then in the next step, we will try to find a little bit more about you, what it is that you're looking for your kids. And then we would invite you to come and visit us. The best way to also experience the school is to really come here onto the campus. It's a wonderful green campus, and it's great to kind of to get a sense of the vibe and the atmosphere of the school. And then we invite you to start an application. Our application is online. You can fill everything online. You can attach the documents needed online. And then we receive this together with the documents, and we then discuss it with our academic team. If it's an application for our boarding school, we also involve our director of boarding. And then following a successful discussion, we would send you a letter of acceptance that you can then accept, and by acceptance of this, you then are officially enrolled. So this is a little bit to explain our process, but we are always there to accompany you along the way. And here you see our admissions team. Maybe you are in contact with some of them. We speak a range of languages. So if we are able, we're also happy to do the visits or our video calls with you in your native language. Yeah, anytime there for you for any questions that you might have. Okay, good. So this concludes our presentation part, and I would now like to go over to our Q&A part, where I'll be happy if our panelists will join me again. So I have a few questions that I see already. So the first question that I will start with, is your school selective? And I will give this question first for middle school to Mrs. Harvey, and then it would be great if also Mr. Berblock can join in to answer the question.
Thanks for that question, Laura. Actually, Hannah and I were just talking about that a little bit, because she said what would make a student not be accepted at CDL. We are quite an inclusive school. We like having students who have a variety of experiences, life experiences, but also a variety of levels of ability to learn and to access the curriculum. The vast majority of students we can support. There are a few students for whom CDL isn't the right school. And so usually when we're not able to accept a student, it's because we know that this is not the right place for them to learn. If they have more severe learning difficulties, or if they are super, if they have a diagnosis where they're super gifted and talented, and we can't actually cater for that. But it's very rare. We like having the diversity and the variety of types of learners at our school. James, did you want to add to that?
I'm not sure I can add to it. You described the situation very well, but essentially, I think what we've seen is that the offer at the school is so vast. Whether you're talking about the programs themselves, within each individual program, so much choice for the students. Outside of the classroom, so many activities offered, the extracurricular program, and so on. The REACH framework that we have. Essentially, what we are looking for is for students who would want to come to CDL because they would like to buy in and enjoy that experience. And there are very few students, I think, who would not want to be part of that. There are one or two occasionally, as Dr. Harvey mentioned, but essentially, no, we're looking to make sure that students enjoy an experience in the school, will benefit from the experience, will be successful, and will then move on to higher things.
Thank you very much.
Laura, could I just add something?
Yes,
I
of
think
course.
the bigger question is usually what's the right placement of program for a student? Less so, is this the right place for my child? More so, should my kid do IB, IGCSE? Should my child be in the bilingual program, the Anglophone program, the Francophone program? And we're really there to guide you as a family to make sure that you're in the right place as you get going at CDL.
Thank you so much, Betsy. There's another question that I'm happy to take, which is more related to the admissions process. Regarding the admission application, is there an entrance exam? So we don't have an entrance exam as such, but we do basically require a few elements as part of the application. So, for example, for high school, we request the last 2 school reports in order to be able to review the credits and how a student is doing academically. We request a confidential report from the current school. And obviously the completed application form. For the as part of the application, we also do an OPT test for English in order to assess the English level and whether the student can, for example, qualify for the IB program that requires a certain level of English in order to be able to access all of the courses in the right language. But these are the key elements that we request as part of the application. And then we sit together with the respective principal, whether it's an application for middle school, then it would be Dr. Harvey that would look at it. If it's an application for high school, for either IB or the American High School Diploma, Mr. Beablock will look at it. And if it's for one of our Francophone programs, Monsieur Coigny, and together with them, we would assess, which is the right program, would the student be rightly placed with us. For our boarding students, we have, in addition to the elements that I mentioned, we have also a boarding questionnaire where we assess the readiness of our students to join boarding. And it's a video questionnaire that prospective boarding students are asked to complete. Okay. I don't know, Hala, how did you find the application process as such, given that you've gone through it 2 years ago? You're muted.
CDL makes it so smooth and simple, and that was one of the many things I greatly appreciated about the process. It was easy to put together. I could save and come back to it later, and yes, it really was very intuitive.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I have another question that's related to the university advising. So how is university advising supported and at what grade? Mr. Beablock, if you could answer this for your section, and Monsieur Coigny for the Francophone section, just following.
I just ask a question on behalf of parents as well, on the back of what Dr. Harvey was saying earlier a little bit. One of the frequent questions is actually which program is best for preparing for university, and my answer is always no program is best. Generally speaking, but for an individual student, one program might be the better option than another one. And again, we're looking at trying to guide students into the program which is going to make them feel comfortable, certainly challenged, but also to bring them those sort of results and then leading into university. To come to your question, in terms of university advising, we have 2 full-time and 1 part-time university advisors. They focus at different times of the year on different age groups, as it were. It's fair to say that we start the year with the senior students, of course, because their immediate concern is to make their applications within the deadlines. They also work with the grade 11 IB 1 students in terms of really making the choices and making sure that they are on track to and understanding really what the issues are, what the different possibilities might be. So they're making good choices based on good information. And we are working more this year, particularly than before, at the grade 10 level, particularly. From grade 10 onwards, there is a big choice to be made into which final program they would take, whether it might be the IB, the diploma program, the career-related program, or perhaps grade 11 and 12, the advanced placements. So some big decisions, and so we want to give good advice at the grade 10 level, but also some of that information filters downwards. We work with the more junior students through their homeroom advisors, so they start to reflect, they start to think about the process and so on. So essentially, we reach from the top downwards, as it were, and we're happy that the students are thinking and preparing and are well prepared by the time they make those critical decisions.
Thank you so much.
Juste pour ajouter aussi, donc on a un grand salon des universités où plus de 100 universités sont présentes et on peut répondre à aux questions des élèves, particulièrement de première et de terminale, ainsi qu'à leur famille, bien entendu. On a la possibilité aussi de faire un stage pour nous en section francophone. Donc les élèves vont faire un stage d'observation où ils font une soutenance de stage en lien avec le programme universitaire qu'ils ont choisi. Il y a le programme Boussole pour l'Université de Genève qui propose aussi un programme d'immersion. On fait également, comme on l'a dit, un salon des métiers et on fait venir beaucoup d'entrepreneurs, beaucoup de gens d'entreprise qui peuvent venir pour témoigner, et les anciens élèves aussi. On a un très joli panel d'anciens élèves qui viennent présenter justement leur parcours aux élèves pour les aider à partir de la classe de seconde jusqu'à la classe de terminale progressif. Et beaucoup de réunions d'information et des parent académiques aussi qui sont consacrés justement à l'université.
Thank you so much. I have 2 further questions. The first one is about the trial session that Hala pointed to. How does it work? Maybe you can you can start, Betsy, and by explaining how we are organizing it on our side, and Hala, maybe you can add what your experience has been from the other side.
Sure. So we really like when students are able to come for a trial day. It's really great for us and it's really great for the students. To me, the most important thing is that the student knows what they're getting into. So it's really a trial on both sides to make sure it's a really good fit. But I would much rather have a student spend a day with us than worry all summer long, what's it going to be like when I get to school? So they get to know some classmates, and Hannah has been a buddy for students in the past. So it's a great chance to get a little glimpse socially, but also really great because you get a sense of the rhythm of the school, get a sense of what teaching is like, what learning is like. So for us, it's a really great opportunity. It's helpful to have that completed application in advance so that we can adequately plan that trial day. So we know, for example, what third language your child does. So we have a sense of their English level, their French level. So as much information as we can have before we plan that trial day, that's really important to us.
Thank you. Hala, would you like to share from your perspective how it went for you?
Sure, yeah, and definitely what Mrs. Harvey said is very important. So we had started applying probably in November or December of the year, and we were planning to come in March. So that's when my daughter was paired with a buddy. She was coming from Canada. Admissions curated a group of friends through a friend who was from the US. So again, the language was I felt at home, and they had lunch together. And afterwards, this buddy introduced her to more friends. And by the summer, she had a friend group before she even started school. So that, for me, like, her transition was the smoothest of all the family. And this trial day made all the difference.
Thank you so much. Then I have, I think, a last question for Mr. Bablock. For students, which is a comparison between the UK systems, for students coming into high school from a 13-year school system, in this case, for example, Italy or UK, how is the adaptation and integration into a 12-year IB system?
I would say seamless, in the sense that we're just talking about numbers here. It's true, the UK system finishes at what they call year 13. That's just a name. That level happens to be called year 13. We happen to call it grade 12, but it's exactly the same thing. So whichever grade they come into, there will be an exact correspondence with the experience they will have had in the past in the UK or elsewhere. So absolutely no problem in terms of the transition into our school.
Okay, good. Thank you so much. I think that has concluded the questions that we've received in the chat. So thank you very much for your participation, both to our panelists, to our lovely students and parents and principals. But thank you for being with us, to the attendees of this webinar, for the engaged discussion here at the end. And with this, I invite you to contact us if you have further questions, if you'd like to schedule a visit, if you'd like to schedule a call to continue the admissions journey with us. We're here to support you along the way, and I wish you with this a wonderful evening. And thank you very much to everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.